Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zita, and on my channel I share with you DIYs and makeovers on a budget. And don't forget to follow me over on my socials at Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Etsy. So let's get started on today's DIYs. So today guys, I'm going to be doing a couple of awesome decoupage projects, and I'm going to be starting out first with these coasters that I picked up at the Habitat for Humanity and this trivet that I picked up at a thrift store. So first I'm going to wipe the coasters down, and as you can see they're very shiny. So what I'm going to start out first with here is the Fusion Ultra Grip. And this is going to help the chalk paint adhere to the coaster a lot better with this on here. And I put the same Fusion Ultra Grip on the trivet as well. So once that's dry, I'm starting out with my homemade chalk paint here, guys. And if you haven't made homemade chalk paint, I'll leave that video in the description box. I do have a video for that. So I think I put 3 or 4 coats of chalk paint on this. I was trying to find white tiles at the Habitat, but wasn't able to find any. And for the trivet, I started out with a black homemade chalk paint. And you can use any color you'd like for homemade chalk paint, guys. Whatever color paint you have on hand or you want to use for your project. So after that black chalk paint was dry, I put a few coats of my homemade white chalk paint on there. And here I'm starting out with the coasters, and I gave them a light sanding before I applied my napkin. Now guys, you're going to want to pull your napkin apart. Make sure you're pulling all the layers off, because I have done with some projects, guys, not pulled all the layers off, and it does not work out good. It starts to bubble up. So right here I'm just kind of ripping off the edges just to make it more natural looking. You can do that with an artist brush and some water as well. And I'm putting some Mod Podge on here, and I start out in the center and work my way out. I do the same thing on both sides, and then I smooth that out with, you know, a plastic bag, or like a soft plastic bag or saran wrap. So right here I'm putting a coat of Mod Podge on top, and then after that was dry, I put some of this Polyvine varnish on. That's for like brick, stone, slate, and tile, as you can see there. And if you want to buy some of this, guys, I'll put a 10% off coupon code in my description box. I got this from Napkins. And I did put 3 coats of this on, guys, like after each coat was dry, just to make sure it was good for the heat. Now for this next method here, guys, I'm going to do a wet method. I'm going to put my napkin on this plastic here, wet it with a spray bottle. Now I don't know if I put too much water on or not. Then I'm trying to smooth it out with a really soft brush here. And I have not perfected this method yet, but I want to keep trying just to see, because you have to use less Mod Podge. So you just put that on top of your tile and then let that dry. You can try to spread the napkin out to smooth it out with the brush or with your hand, like I've seen some people do, but I don't know, I was kind of ripping in a couple little spots, so I stopped doing that. So it had some wrinkles in it, but once it dried, it didn't look as bad. So I took the bottom portion off here with a wet brush and let it hang over the coaster. And once that was off, I just let that sit and let it dry, and then I put my top coat of Mod Podge on. Now so far I do like the straight Mod Podge with the dry napkin better, but you'll see coming up here, I do try the wet method again with the napkin on top of the coaster. So as you can see here, you see some wrinkles, but it did kind of smooth out as it dried. So right here I'm doing the Mod Podge method, where I start it with one side and then the other, and then smooth that out with my soft plastic bag or saran wrap. And you know, this method is the easiest for me so far. And then I'm putting some Mod Podge on the sides here too, guys, and then just trimming it down. And once that's dry, I'll do some sanding off the corners. So this is where I try the water on top of the coaster, see if that worked out good, but that was even worse. You see all the wrinkles in there, so that did not work out good. Anyway, so once all the coasters were dry, I gave them a sanding, get all the excess napkin off, and again I used this Polyvine tile varnish on top, and I put 3 coats of that just so it's heat resistant. And on the back I'm putting this liner that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, guys, so it's only $1.25, and I cut that out and I hot glued that on. And I'm going to use that little pink finger rubber thing here to press down that hot glue, guys. Don't use your bare fingers because the hot glue will burn you. So that's what it looks like once they're all done. So there's the before, guys, for the trivet and the coasters. And look at how beautiful these turned out. I absolutely love these. I love this cow. What kind of cow is this, guys? Let me know in the comments. I did know the name of them, but it's not coming to me right now. So leave me a comment and let me know what you think of these coasters and what type of cow this is. Let me know which decoupage method you have tried and which one you like the best. For my next project here, guys, I got some scrap wood. I got this beautiful little kind of cartoon print from my local newspaper, some Mod Podge, some of my homemade chalk paint, and some IOD molds that I'm going to be using some IOD clay in. So first I am giving that scrap piece of wood a few coats of white chalk paint, and now I'm ready to use my IOD mold and IOD clay. I'm just using that second row there. And once I'm going to press that clay in, and then I'm going to take the top off with this little putty knife here. And it did kind of break off there, so I put it back in and took it off with the putty knife again, and it came out. I put that all around my frame there, guys, and I just used that little putty knife to get my angled corners. Just press it down in the corner there and just take the top and the bottom off. And guys, I did not glue this down right away because I wanted to paint it, but it ended up shrinking on me. So I kind of wish I would have glued it down in the beginning, but this is my first time using it, so now I know. So you're going to want to put your clay in the bag, guys. I double bagged it just so it doesn't dry out. So here I'm just fitting my little newspaper clipping in there just to see where I need to center it out, and then I'm going to use my Mod Podge to put that newspaper clipping down. And as you can see, the little clay portions there, yeah, it did kind of shrink up. So I'm putting my Mod Podge down from the center and working my way out, and using a plastic bag to smooth that out. And once I have that smooth out on there, I'm going to put my IOD clay molds on top. But first I put a coat of Mod Podge on top of this newspaper clipping and let that dry. So now I'm going to paint my IOD clay molds. So I put some turquoise blue in there and a little bit of water because I want to match up the colors in that little newspaper print there. So I'm putting a couple of coats of this on the molds just until I get the color I want. And then once that's on there, I'm just going to let that dry. So I'm just checking the color there. It looks so cute. I absolutely love this little print, guys, that I found in the newspaper. It kind of looks like a cartoon piece of art. I think it was for some art show that was happening. I wish I would have wrote down the artist's name because I love this. So yeah, guys, you can take anything you find in a newspaper that you like the looks of it. You can decoupage that as well and dress it up. So here I'm just trying to fit my pieces together there. And like I said, because they shrunk, they were not as big as I wanted them to. So some of the wood on the side of that scrap piece of wood was showing. But you'll see here how I'm going to fix that up. So here I'm using both hot glue and wood glue to put this down. I'm putting a little bit of hot glue so it sticks right away, and then I'm going to put some wood glue. And I just press down on that slightly for like, you know, a minute until it was there, until I made sure it was going to stay down. So, like I said, because this did shrink, so this is what it looks like, and you can see like a few gaps there on the side and kind of in the corners too where it shrunk up. So I'm just putting some little extra pieces of clay in there, and I'm going to let that dry, and I'm actually going to put some clay on the sides as well, and I'm going to paint that blue, and so that way it doesn't look like there's all this excess wood on the side. So once that clay was dry, I gave it another coat of this turquoise paint that I mixed up, that I diluted with a little bit of water. And while I was doing that, guys, I thought, when I was adding that clay in the corners there to cover in the little gaps, I thought I'm just gonna add like a little piece here and just decorate it even more. So I just put my clay in the mold and just took a little portion out and just put it in each corner there, guys. And I'm going to paint this a different color, a pink. And I'm doing this because this little print there is so beautiful and looks so cartoonish and fun that I thought I could put another color on there. So I'm going to use a hot pink color on there. So I'm gluing all four of those pieces down with some hot glue, just pressing them there a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to paint that blue and then that pink. So I'm fixing up the sides there once the clay has dried, guys, and painting the sides. And then once that's done, all those little four corner pieces that I put on there, I'm going to add this really neon pink. So I put a little bit in this little steel bowl that I have, and I have this dropper. I forgot I had these, so I just took a little bit of water from my dropper, and I just put a couple of little drops in that neon pink paint just to lighten it up a bit and to apply it to those little corner pieces. And one piece kind of fell off there, so I did hot glue that back on, and it was a little delicate and a little bit of the end of it broke off there, as you can see. I'm trying to add it back on, but I wasn't able to get all of the broken piece back on there, but it still turned out beautiful. I just painted a little bit on the side. And these, guys, are some metallic water paints that I picked up at the dollar store, and it's awesome. So I thought I'm just gonna add a little bit of shimmer to this. Now that pink is looking a little bright, and the shimmer does calm it down a little bit. And I am absolutely loving this shimmer that is in these little paint packet here from the dollar store. It really adds to this piece with the way that this artistic newsprint looks. And it had both the pink and this blue in there, guys, so it was like perfect. And the shimmer really adds to the piece. And once I had this done, I thought the pink still kind of stood out a little bit too much for me, like it was taken away from the print, the girls having their lunch there. And I did put a little bit of this shimmer blue inside too, just to kind of like mask any gaps there, so that worked out good. And like I said, I wanted to calm down that bright pink, so I used a white wax on top of that. You see how it's a little too pink, but I think it still looks good. But aren't those ladies awesome, guys? They're having lunch together. They're having some sweets, some fruit, and some drinks. It's awesome. And I'm keeping this piece for myself, guys, because I love it so much. So you can take something like a piece of newspaper, anything you like the picture of, and you can decoupage it and dress it up and make it look good, even from this piece of scrap wood. And look at how beautiful this turned out, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of this fun little piece. And please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to see more videos like this one and so much more. Thanks so much for sharing some of your time with me today, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.